Indicators here. All right, so let's do a quick recap of how the Maverick AI Pro and really the Maverick Indicators would have kept you on the right side of the track, especially off the open yesterday, Friday. So let's walk through this real quick, and let me show you how this just gave you clear vision. I mean, really, it's just awesome. And how it took all the guesswork out of the charts. Okay, so let's start with the Maverick AI Pro, which is coloring your candles and all this stuff, and then I'll walk you through the other things and how, man, it was very, very clear what was happening yesterday. So I'm on a 1 minute Heikin-Ashi chart here on TradingView. Now, all our indicators work on TradingView and NinjaTrader. There's only one indicator that does not work on NinjaTrader yet, and that is the Maverick Radar, which we are in the process of getting it ready for NinjaTrader. So all our indicators, for the most part, work on both platforms. And look at just this open. Okay, so the Maverick AI Pro colors your candles to the data, not to price and direction. Hear me. I want you to really listen to that, because it's kind of it can be tough to get your mind around at first. The Maverick AI Pro colors your candles to the data we're seeing, buying, selling, the strength, the momentum, all this different stuff that we built into our formula. It is coloring your candles to the data, not to price and direction. So look at these down candles. Yes, they have a red outline because that's what TradingView does. These would have all been red candles, but they're green because your buying data is cooling off. Now, these are 1 minute candles, so this isn't like 10 hours. This is like, 10 minutes. But bright green candles is your strongest upside candle. When you see bright green, like we say, it might just fly off your screen. Green, regular green, is your cooling off. Gray, indecision or reversal. Let me show you some, this is overnight trading, but if I could show you some, see bright green candles. When you see bright green, look at this sucker, just fly straight up. Let me see if I can quickly find you some downside candles. Here's a good example, okay? Red is your second strongest downside candle. Hot pink is your strongest downside candle. Now, this is 11 o'clock at night, but you get my point, okay? There's only 5 colors. Gray, which is indecision or reversal. Red, your second strongest downside candle. Hot pink, your strongest downside candle. Look at all these down confidence arrows just screaming at you to get in. Bright green, look at these reversal candles. Unbelievable. And bright green is your strongest upside candle. Regular green, if we can find some, because that went right to bright green, is your second strongest upside candle. But see how they're heading downward? That's because the data is cooling off. This gives you a view on the actual data, what is going on behind the scenes, underneath the hood. So that way, you don't get shaken out when you start going sideways. Well, you have still bright green candles. You're still above the Maverick guide. We like to go long when we're above this blue line. We like to go short when we're below it. And I could show you this all day long. Long when you're above it, short when you're below it. That's middle of the night action, but you get my point. This allows you to stay in trades longer. Go read the reviews from our traders. They're like, man, I've never stayed in a trade so long because you see the data underneath the hood, okay? Your Maverick Multi-X, 5 traders voting. Now, these 5 traders, these are algorithms, so 5 traders, they all have a completely different style and preference. 5 traders across 6 time frames, they're all voting every single tick, okay? So 5 traders across 6 time frames. You can add a 7th time frame if you want, and you can change these time frames to whatever you want. So instead of having 6 charts on your screen, trying to read them all at once, it's hard enough to read one chart. Why not have the Maverick Multi-X? 5 traders, it's like trading with 5 traders in the room with you. They're all giving their votes across 6 time frames. It's so awesome. Then you have the Maverick Trender. The Maverick Trender, when this line is pegged to the top, that is showing massive strength and momentum. Green to the upside, red to the downside. And again, this doesn't go slowly up and slowly down and fake you out. It's either at the top or it's at the bottom. When it's at the bottom, it means nothing. When it's at the top, it means a whole lot. So what we do is we stack probability, okay? Get your head around this. This is the theory that absolutely changed my trading. Stacking probability, not just one, indicator that tells us to buy or to sell. We're stacking probability, meaning, okay? Let me turn on our Maverick signals as well. Meaning that we stack probability, we stack all, it's like a checklist. So we have a green background, the bulls are in control. This is the market open. Let me mark the market open, sorry guys. There's your market open. So green background, bulls are in control, bright green candles, your strongest data upside candle. Look at this thing fly up. Price is above the blue line. When price is above the blue line, we like to go long. When price is below the blue line, we like to go short. And look how it perfectly marked the change in direction. Bulls in control, bears in control. Right off the open, rip to the upside, bright green candles, price is above the blue line. Then it flips and you're like not even curious about it flipping. You're going, oh, buying data is going down. We have a red background, bears are in control. Sorry, bears are in control. You break below the blue line and you have down confidence arrows. Unbelievable. Your Maverick trender pegged to the top this whole way up, almost just a couple candles, just a couple stalling out candles, all the way up. Boom. How many people would have gotten shaken out on these candles? Not you. These would have been red candles. You have bright green candles. So you know to stay in. Right here. How many people got shaken out on this candle? Not you. You were above the Maverick guide. Oh, by the way, you had a buy signal from the Maverick signals, which all our lifetime members have. And your Maverick Multi-X was completely green, okay? And this is a real-time indicator, meaning like it only reacts when the market's open, so it's going to not be moving right now. And your Maverick trender was pegged to the top the whole way. But what's even cooler about a stacking probability is now we have the Maverick radar, which is this guy down here. And what it's doing is it's going through this checklist that I just showed you. So what it's doing is, and let me go into replay mode. Let me show you guys. Let me start at the market open, okay? Let it load up here, all right? So see the mixed signals here, because all five traders, they're casting different votes because your market's about to open. It's so volatile, right? All right, so market opens, we never enter the first candle, okay? So we don't do nothing the first candle. Don't do anything, okay? Next candle, what do we get? We get a B grade to the upside on ES, no grade on NQ, and a B grade to the downside on VIX. Let me explain this real quick. The ES and the NQ move alike. They usually move in the same direction. If they're not moving in the same direction, stay out, okay? And then the VIX moves in the completely opposite direction of ES and NQ. So what we're looking for here is we're looking for an A+ setup on ES, an A+ setup on NQ, agreeing, and then an opposite A+ setup on the VIX. Does that make sense? And everything I just showed you, bears are in control, you're below the Maverick guide, like everything I just showed you, these indicators, this indicator is going through the checklist for you until you get an A+ setup. So that way, it's how many times have you gotten into a trade and your eyes deceived you? Afterwards, you're like, what the hell was I looking at? Well, this is going to confirm what your eyes are seeing. So we wait for an A+ setup on ES, we wait for an A+ setup on NQ, and we wait for an A+ setup to the opposite side on VIX. And watch what happens when we do that. Next candle. Oh, got a buy signal, got a bright green candle. If you see bright green, it might fly right off your screen. Bulls are in control. You have a green background. All five traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames. They vote every single tick. Oh, Maverick trender. Let me show you this. Maverick trender is pegged to the top. I told you, we love when this line is pegged to the top. If it's green, it's going up. If it's red, it's going down. But look, this does all the work for you. It is literally reading all these stacking probability things. Is price above the Maverick guide? Yes, it is. Remember, we like to go long when price is above the blue line, short when price is below it. Okay, so we got an A+ setup to ES, A+ setup to NQ, and an A+ setup to the downside on VIX. Well, let's watch what happens on the next one. Boom. Huge candle, holy smokes, but we still don't have that A plus setup. Could you get in right here? Yes, this is enough to get in. An A plus setup to the upside on ES and an A plus setup to the downside on VIX is enough to get in, right? Okay, we're firing on all cylinders here. But you could wait, you just have a B setup on NQ. You could wait for that, okay? You could wait for that. Boom. Now you got a B setup. You could still get in. Honestly, I would have been in when I got an A plus setup on ES and an A plus setup on NQ, probably right around here. But I'm very familiar with these indicators. Many of you guys are. By the way, shout out to all, oh my gosh. I said this last week. I was like, man, I have gotten more emails this week of people passing evals and getting payouts. This week trumps last week. Absolutely. So many folks got payouts this week. Unstinking believable. So let's wait for this next one. Boom. Now you got your A plus setup all aligned. See this? All aligned. You got an A plus setup to the upside on ES, A plus setup to the upside on NQ, and an A plus setup on the VIX. Okay. So I would have been in right around here, but sure, fine. For all the haters on the internet, we'll get in right here. Okay. We waited. We'll even turn this green. Okay. Green. Okay. All right. So here's where we got in right here. And now we're just going to see where it goes. Boom, boom, boom. Still an A plus setup. Okay. Now you could get out. You could have gotten out once you lose this A plus setup, but we're still above the Maverick guide. So we're going to roll with this thing. We're going to roll with this thing as long as we're above this Maverick guide. We still have bright green candles. See this retracement candle? It's still bright green. You should have stayed in. Bright green, another red candle, but it's bright green. You see that? Boom. And it kept going and it paid you handsomely for staying in. Okay. And these purple lines, these were my my support and resistance lines that I was drawing pre-market. Okay. Boom. Okay. All right, now we broke and closed below the Maverick guide. I want nothing to do with that. So once you got probably around here, the break and the close, and you lost your Maverick trender, I probably would have gotten out. So what is that? 68.80 to, let's just go to here. Okay, it's a $12 move. Okay, we won't even take the full thing. All right, so 12 bucks. All right, so let's do the math. So on one mini, that's a $600 move. On one mini, 600 bucks. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I would have been in down here when I got an A setup on ES and an A setup on VIX. You don't have to wait for NQ. Okay. But I'm just showing you worst case scenario. If you were the biggest scaredy cat in the world and you were like, I'm just going to wait till like everything is stacked. All probability is stacked in my favor. This is the result on the low end, 600 bucks. But quite frankly, I showed you, I would have gotten in down here. Okay. So what is that? 68.61. And let's say I only took it to right here. So again, for all the haters on the internet, 68.61. So what's that? 61.89. Okay, that's a $28 move. 12.50. Okay, so that's 1,400 bucks. Okay, so this would have been 1,400 bucks here. If I didn't get the peak of it, if I took it all the way back down and waited for a close below the Maverick guide. Not bad. Not bad. How cool is this tool right here? Okay, so let's go. Let's see here. Let's go back to the open on Thursday. Oh, maybe it only worked on Friday. Oh, okay. Well, let's go back to Thursday. By the way, not financial advice. Do your own research. I'm just showing you. You can't rewrite the past. Okay. So where's market open? Right here. Okay. Here's market open. Let's wait till we get A+ setups. All right, so market opens. Boom, boom. Okay, I love this. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. But we don't like to trade the first couple of minutes of market open. Where are we at? 931. Yeah, I wouldn't take a trade at 931. So we only have a B setup to the upside on VIX. This is moving down, but we only have a B grade. So like we're just going to sit on our hands. Okay, boom. Still no signal. Okay, we want all these suckers aligned. And sorry about my support and resistance levels. That's from me trading. All right, still no grade. We'll keep going. Ooh, B set up to the upside on NQ. Let's see here. Let's keep going. I don't know why TradingView is like slow right now. Let's see here. Still don't have an A+ setup on the Maverick radar yet. So let's see here. It's starting to shape up though. You have a B set up on ES. You have a B set up to the upside on NQ and VIX. So let's see where this shakes out. Not sure if it's gonna. Okay, so now looks like we're reversing. We're getting gray reversal candles. Oh, now you got a B set up to the downside on ES. Oh, B set up to the upside on VIX. That's very interesting. Remember, these move opposite. So you have a B set up to the downside on ES, a B set up to the upside on ES, on VIX. Okay. Oh, you got a sell signal, folks. You got a sell signal. So let's look at this moment in time. You have a sell signal. All 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames. And all 5 traders have a completely different style. You have an A setup to the downside on ES, which is what we're trading, and you have a B setup to the upside on VIX. So let's see where this goes, but you don't have your Maverick Trender yet. Oh, now the Maverick Trender is firing. Maverick Trender is firing to the downside. You now have hot pink candles. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. You have a sell signal. You have tons of down confidence arrows. Prices below the Maverick guide. Remember, when prices above this blue line, we like to go long. When prices below the blue line, we like to go short. All 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames. But even if you didn't want to look at all that, oh, and the bears are in control, red background. Even if you didn't want to look at all that, don't let your eyes deceive you. You come over here and you go, oh, A setup on the Maverick AI Pro. You have a pink candle, so you have an A+ setup to the downside. Maverick Multi-X, you have an A grade here. Maverick Guide, you have an A grade here because price is below the Maverick Guide. Maverick Trender, you have an A grade here to the downside. Maverick Bear Bull, bears are in control. And then we have this qualifier that we built in with I've been calling it the magic formula that safeguards us to make sure that we're actually getting an A+ setup. So we have an A setup to the downside on ES, B setup to the upside on VIX. Woo, it's shaping up to be good. All right, so still no AA setup. Oh, folks, I'd be in here. I just would be. An A+ setup to the upside on VIX, an A setup to the downside on ES. That's enough to get me in. And now the NQ, you got a B setup. Pretty good. Okay, so I would be getting in right here, personally. I would have gotten in right here. But that's just me, okay? That's just me. If you want to be super cautious, boom. Now you have an A setup to the downside on ES, NQ, and an A setup to the upside on VIX, all aligned, okay? So let's make we'll make this one, what was it before, yellow? Okay, and then we'll add another one if we were, waiting for maximum confirmation. You would have gotten in here because this is where it closed, and we'll make that one green, okay? All right, boom, okay? So we're already in profit, in profit, in profit, in profit. Our stop loss definitely would have been higher than that. We like to stay above the Maverick guide. In profit, in profit. Still have an A+ setup. Look at this. Still. Let me move this up here. Okay, so you lost your A+ setup. So let's say you just got out right here. Let's just say that you got out, not even at the bottom. It closed right here, but let's split the difference. Let's say right here. Okay, so this would have been, let me grab my phone here, 68.34 down to, wow, nice move. Is that a $19 move? Is my math right? 34 down to 14? 34. We'll say down to 15. So you didn't get the full move. Okay, so that's a $19 move. On ES, that would have been 950 bucks. 950. 950 bucks. My move, I would have gotten in here. Once we had an A+ setup on ES and VIX, I would have gotten in. That's a 40 down to 15. So that's a little bit different. 40 minus 15. Okay, that's a $25 move. So on one contract, that would have been $12.50. Okay. One contract, that would have been, whoops, I didn't mean to do all that. $12.50. Okay. There we go. Well, that was delayed. What the heck is going on with TradingView today? Man, that is insane. Now, maybe you wanted to hold all the way back till it got back to the Maverick guide, right? Okay, and you could have. So what? You'd split the difference, 600 bucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's still sick, right? So this is how you get clear vision on your charts. To me, this is edge. To me, this is edge. And again, the thing that I'm loving about the Maverick radar, for one, that it just tells me if ES and NQ are aligned, and then the VIX, if it's going opposite, and it gives me a grade, is that it is keeping me from seeing something I want to see. Does that make sense? How many times have you gotten into a trade because you're hopeful that it's going in a certain direction, so you get in, and then you go back to your trade and you're like, what the hell was I thinking? This verifies what your eyes are seeing and just kind of keeps you on the right side of the track. So we didn't just go over Friday, went back to Thursday as well. I could go back through the whole week, but I don't want to make like the longest video ever. But I know you guys like me doing these recaps. Again, this is how you have clear vision on your charts, right? This is how we use these tools, and we don't just take one sell signal. You could have gotten in right here at this sell signal, right? You could have, but we want to stack probability. We want to stack. That's why this buy signal didn't work out, but we didn't care because it was a gray candle. We knew right away not to take this signal, right? You're going to get no indicator is perfect, but we knew not to get in here because you had a gray candle. Like, we just know that, but you wouldn't have gotten an A+ setup, so it didn't even matter, right? But you could have gotten into the sell, and but if you want to wait for an A+ setup, man, this is how you have clear vision on your chart. So listen, our indicators work on TradingView and NinjaTrader. The only one that is only on TradingView right now is the Maverick Radar, but we are about to release it on NinjaTrader in the next coming weeks. If you are a member by Sunday night, okay, go to our website, MaverickIndicators.com. You will see this. If you are a member by Sunday night, you are going to get the Maverick Radar for free, okay? So you're gonna get the Maverick Trender for free. You're gonna get a whole suite of indicators for free. If you're a lifetime member, one-time payment, you don't have to pay monthly. There is a monthly option, and you will get the Maverick Radar for free. And I gotta tell you, like, props to like so many of you guys, no pun intended, props, but so many of you guys got prop firm payouts this week. I am so stinking proud of you. Like, so proud of you. There are so many of you. Man, just like first thing this morning, I opened up my email and I got one from Marcel, like almost $2,000. Like, so awesome getting a payout. Just awesome, awesome, awesome. Keep those wins coming. It is my favorite part of the day, opening up my email and seeing you guys passing eval accounts, getting payouts. It is so awesome. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research. Come check us out. If you want edge in the market, if you want clear vision, come check us out. We are doing things that no one else is doing, I feel like. But whatever. You make the decision. You make that determination for yourself. Come check us out. MaverickIndicators.com. That's MaverickIndicators.com.